Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this to be wonderful and very insightful session, Fantastic Books and Where to Find Them. We have with us a very wonderful personality, Miss Vishakha Raghav, and it's but obvious that I should introduce her to all of you. She is an MBA from Symbiosis, also a BTech. She has almost 10 years experience, which includes working for Accenture as business and technology delivery specialist for last around 4 years. She is also an avid reader of non-fiction books. She keeps on sharing her book learnings across all platforms, including Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, and podcast channels. Many of you might be following her on her Instagram account. And if not, I'm sure that by the end of this session, you will also become one of the thousands of fans of hers on her Instagram, and you will join that also. Her aim is to work closely with authors and audience to help reach right book to the right audience. She keeps on making reading easy, and she keeps on sharing very effective tips and tricks of reading. So welcome to this session, ma'am. And first of all, thank you very much for accepting the invite.
Thank you so much. That was a heartful introduction. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yes. So first question which I want to ask you is that it's a very quintessential story that people do BTech and then they do MBA and then they work at software companies, right? It has been an Indian dream per se, and you are living that dream. You were living that dream also. So what made you come into this book reading also, and what prompted you into book reading? What motivated, inspired you for reading books, and especially non-fiction books?
So it happened in 2016. That's when I was preparing for my MBA exams.
Okay. Okay.
So we have exams, then we have interviews. You know the process. So it triggered my mind that what if the interviewer asks me that, have you read any books?
Okay.
What if the interviewer is a person who reads books and he asks me that, have I read any books? It is going to give a very negative impression in front of him if I have not read any books. So that's when I decided that at least let me read one book, just to say it out in front of the interviewer that yes, I do read books. So that's how it started. It started with a very negative thought in mind, I would say, because I feel that book reading should not come from such a thought. I feel it should always be free flowing. But I'm thankful that I thought that way, because today I'm here because of that thought. So that is how it started.
Yes.
So I picked up this book.
Okay, your feed was cut for a little bit. If you can continue.
Okay, so I started with this book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And this was the first non-fiction book that I had read at that time. And it's a 300-page book. I read it, I think, within 15 days. And I loved it. I loved reading.
Okay.
So that is when I thought that, okay, let's read more. I kept on researching on internet that what are the top 5 books to read on this, habit building, personality development, finances. And that's how it started from 2016 till today. I've read almost 350 plus books in total, out of which 75% are non-fiction and a few are fictions. So that's how it started.
Okay, wonderful. So they rightly say then that the journey of 1,000 miles start with the first step, one single step, which started with you also. And yes, a lot of people take up books or read one book at least so that they can share this thing during their interview process. That's also right. So for your first book, you have selected 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, right? So I would like to know that what was the process of you discovering that book at that time? And you might have also been like right now, your selection process might be very different, but I want you to go back to 2016 and tell me that how did you discover and select this particular book? I think a 300-page book, right? For your
Yes,
first book. Yes.
yes. What I did was, I think most of the people, that's how they search books on internet. I just went to Google and I searched top 10 books for self-help. That's all I typed. And I got a list of books. Later, I typed top 10 books for personality development.
Okay.
I got a list.
Mm.
That's how I researched for, let's say, 4 to 5 topics, and I picked a common book. So, Seven
Okay.
Habits of Highly Effective People. This book was there for personality development. This was there for better lifestyle. This was there for habit building. So, I was like, why not read something which has everything? So, yes, that is how I picked this book.
Okay, wonderful. So, first, another question which I want to ask you about reading in general first, and then I will come to some particular readings also. So, nowadays, reading or books have to compete with Netflix, then they have to compete with, if we talk about knowledge gaining, also they have to compete with documentaries, which are also available. Audiobooks are also available, then podcasts are also available. People can read blogs also, right? So, why would somebody pick a book instead of doing all of these things?
That's a very interesting question. Very interesting question. And it's the first time I'm facing this question, but very good. So, what I feel is that yes, in today's world, knowledge is available everywhere. Data is available everywhere. Data is the new oil, the new soil, they say. So, it's available everywhere. But when you go to Netflix and you're watching a documentary, it's a 1.5 hour documentary. Okay. They keep on playing slide by slide. They'll keep on saying something, but they do not give you time to analyze what they are showing you. So you don't have that window to grasp the knowledge, crunch it, and then try to see if it's right or wrong. This is the problem with all the platforms, that they are giving data, they are pushing data, but they are not giving humans time to analyze things. That's where books come into the picture. Now when I'm reading book, I can pause whenever I want. I can pause it. I can highlight it. I can put down all my notes I've read earlier, whatever I saw in earlier books. If whatever I've faced in life, I can relate personal experiences with it. I can actually talk to a book. You cannot talk to a Netflix series. You cannot talk to someone who is telling things on podcast. Yes, these things are also important. I will not say that books should be your ultimatum goal, but if you want to consume knowledge fully, if you want to consume knowledge slowly, if you're ready for it, if you're patient enough, then books are for you. But there's nothing wrong in going to a podcast channel and listening to, let's say, 4 hours and getting something knowledgeable out of it. There's nothing wrong in it. So these are just two different ways of getting knowledge. It depends on how, as a human being, you are comfortable with. So I am not comfortable with podcasts, to be honest, because I feel that it's just that someone is talking to you, but you are not able to talk back. You're not able to give your input. So yeah, that is what I feel about these different platforms that we have got in today's world. And I feel
Yes.
that books are better for me.
Yes, yes, definitely. So I also feel like this, that, for example, podcast and all the other platforms, they generally do not give you enough space to process what you are witnessing, watching, or experiencing. Whereas books, as figuratively also said, that there are always something which you can read between the lines, you can pause, you can ponder, and what a wonderful phrase you have given to me today, that you can talk to books, which you can never do with a documentary or a podcast. So it's very, like, thank you very much for this answer itself, right? Okay. Um, so, for example, you have said that books allow you to analyze whatever you are reading or experiencing, and it creates a space for you. So, is there any book which you have read several times, and what fascinated you about this book, and what you discovered when you were rereading this book?
So I'll show you the book. It's actually right in
Okay.
front of me.
Okay.
Yeah, I keep all my favorites near me.
Okay.
So this is a book, The Daily Stoic.
Okay.
Okay. It's a book, and it has got 366 pages. Every
Okay.
page, if you see, is a small chapter in its own.
Mm-hmm.
All the chapters are dated. So every day when you wake up, you can directly just go to the date,
Mm-hmm.
like today's date, 29 September, and you can just scroll through and you can read. It's so easy and effective for beginners. It's
Mm-hmm.
full of stoic learnings, that how things are not in our control, how we should live an effective life, how not to take things personally. So all these tiny nuggets, everyday thoughtful nuggets, these are there in this book. And I've read this book for the last 3 years. I read it every year. There are 366 365 364 pages in this, and I read this every year. So this
Mm-hmm.
is something that is one of my favorites. I've got a lot of favorites, but this is something that I read every year.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Okay, wonderful. So, as is rightly said, that the book belongs to the author as well as to the reader, and we also create meaning when we are reading the book, right? So, as you are rereading, every time when you reread, you create some new meaning out of the same letters which are printed on the book. Yes, and this is also something, if we look at it now, then when I look at it, this is also something which we can do with books only, right? We cannot listen to one podcast again, not even twice. We cannot watch a documentary, not even twice. Whereas with books, if you are a book lover, you can read the same book for, like, there are people who read the same book almost every year. For example, for me, that book is The Prophet by Khalil Gibran. So every time when I read it, I discover something new which I might have missed the last time, right? Okay.
Yes, very well said. Actually, if I want to speak more on it, Steve
Mhm.
Jobs, he used to read the autobiography of a yogi every year.
Yes.
So a person who is so busy in
Mhm.
other things, he
Mhm.
used to take out time to read that book every year, which he has been reading for a very long time.
Yes.
So whenever we progress in life, right, our mind changes. The way we perceive things, the way we understand things, the way I'm talking to you today, maybe next year I'll be talking in a different manner. I
Mhm.
might have something else to say. So we keep on growing, we keep on changing. So that is the reason we have to reread a few books to get the most out of them.
Mhm. Yes, definitely, definitely. So now that, for example, in the age of Instagram and social media, there are, I think, hundreds of books getting published every day. I think thousands and millions also. And we are sometimes bombarded also by books, right? So now, when you are supposed to select a book to read, so how do you select? What's the process of selecting a book now to read?
Okay. So I have refined my process a lot from 2016 that you asked me. So now what I do is I figure out what do I want to learn. I do not care about what's the latest book that has come, uh, what is hyped in the market, book market, what other people are recommending. But what I look out for is what do I want to learn. Now, let's say for this year, if I want to learn more about history, or if I want to learn more about psychology, what I will do is I will list down that what are the best recommendations being given by other people. I will not blindly take them. I will then read the summary of each book. Okay. I will read maybe reviews. I'll read positive reviews. I'll read negative reviews. So, one mistake what people do is they don't read negative reviews. They always read positive reviews and then they go ahead with the book. That's not correct. You have to read at least 10 positive and 10 negative reviews in order to, have it average out. So that's how I do it. I read reviews on Amazon, Goodreads, and other blogs that are there. And then what I do is I shortlist 3 to 4 books out of those. Because I believe that whenever you want to learn a concept, it's important that you take your data from different authors and different perspectives.
Sources. Yes.
Yes. So an Indian author will write a book in a different manner, whereas a German author will write something in a different manner. So it's important that you get both the perspectives. That's how I shortlist the books. Then after that, Kindle, Amazon has got such a beautiful feature of giving you samples for free. Okay. So they give you samples for free. You can just go to Kindle and you can download sample for free. And then I download the samples for 4 5 books. I read them. If I find it interesting, then I go ahead and do a purchase. So this is the entire process that I follow for selecting my books. It has changed, and this is what I recommend to other people also. However, for beginners, this is not something which can work out. But for avid readers, yes, this is something which will add value to the bookshelf that they want to create.
For beginners, we have wonderful book reviewers like you, and they can go to your page and read the reviews, and then they can select the book. Okay, so before I ask my next question, the eternal debate: Kindle or hard copy, and why?
Oh my God. Okay. I knew that this question will come up because it comes every time. Uh, so I'll take three options. You said Kindle, paperback. I'll add audiobooks also to this.
Okay.
Okay. So three. I'm a person who always believes in balance. I will not exhaust myself with paperbacks. I will not exhaust myself with Kindle also. The reason is because we humans, right, we have been growing up by listening to stories. That's the best way we understand things. Because when we were in the time of Homo sapiens, that's how the knowledge passed. So audiobooks are actually one of the best ways to listen to books. But you cannot listen to all the books. Not every book on Audible is actually worth listening. So most of the books that go well on Audible are the autobiographies or biographies, something which has a storyline or that what happened in that person's life, something like that. So I keep those for audiobooks. Okay. Now the books that are fiction books, mostly those I read on Kindle.
Okay.
Because those are not the books that I will be rereading after 2 years. That's not something that I want to refer back to and analyze it. I don't need to have a book for that. So that's the reason I read my fiction books on ebook, on Kindle. The other books that I want to reread in future, or I want to pass it as a legacy to my relatives, to my friends, if I want them to take it out, that's when I purchase a book. So these are the three different ways that I read my books. I prefer paperback, I prefer audiobooks, I prefer ebooks, but it's all for different kind of books. Another thing is that your mind is very clever. Okay, if you bombard it with physical books, it'll understand that she has been reading for the last 10 hours. It'll understand. But if you divide your time, if you divide 3 hours in physical book, if you divide 3 hours in your audiobook, if you divide 3 hours in your ebooks, it will not be able to understand. It'll just take it as, oh, she's on a different activity now. She's just listening to something. So it's important. It's not necessary, but it's important that we take our knowledge from all different sources that are available in today's world, because it is effective, it is cost effective, it is easier on your brain, it's easier on your time. So whenever I'm walking, I just pick an audio book and I listen to it. I can't do that with the physical book. It'll spoil my eyes.
Yes.
So we have to be clever in that way. But as a book reader, hardcovers are our first love, because it's just so good to read them, but they are very expensive. So yeah.
Okay, so again, before I go to my scheduled next question, since you have said, which is the most expensive book you have bought, and what do you think about it now? Like, is it still worth the buy, or do you think that you could have bought a paperback or something else?
So there's this book, The Total Money Makeover by Dave Ramsey. How did I get to know about his book is, I follow his channel on YouTube. He's a person who gives out financial advices to people. He does a live stream on YouTube every time. So that's how I got to know about his book. And I saw it on Amazon. It was for $2,500. At that time, only hard cover was available. Uh, for India, paperback was not there, Kindle was not there. So I was very skeptical that is it really worth it to spend 2,500? I read the reviews, I read summaries, everything was good, but still 2,500 was a pretty good deal. So I was like, okay. So what I did was, on my birthday, I promised myself it's a birthday gift to yourself.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. So I purchased that book, and that's one of the easiest book a person can read for finance. I
Okay.
still go by that book. Very clearly, things are listed out, and how to invest, how to, it's mostly about personal finance, wealth management.
Mhm.
So I'm glad that I read that book. I'm glad that I purchased it. But today, when you go to Amazon and when you search the price, I think it's 500 something for a paperback.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm glad that I got it. I read that book, but if I might have purchased it today, it would have been a little better for my wallet.
Okay. Okay. Uh, so again, uh, one more question popping up in my mind. Any of your dream book which you would like love to buy and possess in hard copy?
Okay, there is no such book. So I really like the Gita.
Hmm.
I read a very old version of Gita. My mom and dad they have it their place, so that's where I read it. But I would like the bigger kind of Gita which has a stand and everything, and
Hmm.
you can the bigger one, and you can flip through the pages. So I
Hmm.
would really like to have something like that in my house, because Gita is something that is a perfect self-help book out there.
Hmm.
So yeah, that is a book that I would like to have. And I checked on Amazon; it was for 16,000 rupees.
Okay.
The kind of Gita that I want to have. But
Hmm.
I think one day I will make that purchase.
Okay, wonderful. And sure, very sure, very sure one day you will buy that book. Right. Okay. So, another question which I have is that we have talked about selecting a book. Now, what about reading a book? So, Kindle, as you have said, that if you're reading a fiction, you can go through Kindle. If you are reading an autobiography or biography or something with a storyline, you can go to Audible also. So, non-fiction book, for example, you have shown us one book also, the Stoic, and there were tags, there were color markers and whatnot. So, what is the process of reading a book? Like, should it be non-fiction book? Should it be like a race that I have completed it in 10 days, 15 days, or should it be a very slow read? And what should be the process? And what's your process?
Got it. So uh, I believe that there's no right process to read a book. Okay, just to call it out that um, when I was a kid, so from sixth standard, seventh standard, I have a habit of always writing on books. Okay, whenever I find something interesting, I write something down. If there's a diagram, I try to scribble something that what do I understand from it. So I had a habit of putting my analysis on the books from the starting. And my mom and dad, they used to say, no, don't do that. It's disrespectful for the books. So I was like,
Yes.
okay. But today, when I read a book, let's say that I'm reading 3 books for habit building.
Mm.
So there is obvious reason that few things will be repetitive, few things will be different. So what I need to crunch information down. I cannot blindly just read books and forget after a day or two. And let's say that after 3 years, if I want to reference back, then how do I refer it back? I can't go through the entire book again. So that is the reason I got this tiny kit for myself,
Okay.
the highlight the tags kit, and I have dedicated color coding to everything. If I want to include something in my reviews, I color code it to something. If I like something in the book and if I want to refer in the future, I color code it something else, so that when I look at this part of the book, I can understand that I have to pull out this page or this page. It
Okay.
saves my time. It saves my time, it saves someone else's time. Now, if I give this book to you, and if you want to ask me that, Vishakha, please tell me what are the important things in those books, I don't want to read it. So I will just tell you, please refer all the pink colored or all the orange color tabs.
Okay.
So it saves my time, it saves your time. And when I'm writing on the books, when I'm putting my analysis, I feel that, I'm gaining something out of it. Because when you're reading the book, it's just like a story, and you're reading and you're closing the book and putting it back on the shelf.
Yes.
Until unless you break it down, until unless you relate it to yourself, until unless, you refer back that, okay, in that book, something else was written. Now let me refer that. So that's how you do it. If I've read a book 3 years back, and if I have to cross-reference it today, I will go and pick that book, and I'll be able to see what exactly was there. I'll be able to read my analysis. But your analysis also keeps on changing. If today I'm writing some analysis, then after 1 year, it will surely change. So it's important that you are making notes, and it's equally important that you are updating your notes also. Okay. So this is my note making strategy. This is how I read. There are few people who have a separate notebook and they write important things in that. But how many of such notebooks can you create? And why would you want to put data in silos when you can, just put it down on the book? Why would you create 2 different silos to refer? So, this is what works for me. But there are people who have other successful strategies as well. So, to each their own. That's what I feel.
Yeah, but the basic idea is, which you are telling us, is that one has to engage with the book instead of just read it and then close it and leave it, right?
That's very important.
Yes. So when we are talking about engaging, there is one type of book with which a lot of people engage and they believe in it a lot. For example, you have talked about 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. There is another book which has a cult following, that's The Secret, right? And so there are self-help books also. Some people swear by it. Some people say that it's a sham, it's a scam. So what are your views on self-help books, and which are your favorite 2 or 3 self-help books which have helped you in your personal life also?
So what do I feel about self-help books is that not all the books are worth reading. First, you don't have to read all the self-help books. If you read, so the problem with self-help books is when you read it, you will know that, oh, my mom also says the same thing. Oh, my granny also used to say the same thing. My sir also says the same thing. So it's just that humans, and especially this generation humans, they are like, they will not believe words of their ancestors or their parents or families or friends or professors, but they will believe someone who has written a book just to make money, which is not correct. Okay. So I'm not saying don't read self-help books, but read countable self-help books. Don't go crazy on self-help books because it's actually like a drug. Okay. Because whenever you are reading a self-help book, you get a self-satisfaction. Oh, I've read something which is going to, help me grow, which is going to help in my career. Until unless you implement those things, it's not going to help, sadly. So no matter if you read 100 self-help books, it's going to be a zero result if you don't implement one thing out of it.
Yes.
Yeah. So I will not say that self-help books, all of them are written to make money. But yes, it's a very big industry, and people are making good money out of it. People are making money on the dreams that you have. So on the fake promises that you're doing. So you have to be very, very, clever while you're choosing books. You have to make sure that what do you want to learn out of that book, self-help books. Take 4 to 5 books and then you are done. Because it's going to be repetitive. Same information is going to be there in every book. So if to recommend a few, the Daily Stoic, again, coming back to it, that's going to be one. The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari by Robin Sharma. That's a very, very great book. Although I don't like Robin Sharma's book, not a fan, But that book is a great book. 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Yes.
Again, another one. And I saw this book very late in my life, The Comfort Book. It's not a self-help book, but when you read through it, it will help you in ways that you cannot imagine. It will not tell you to go out and achieve your dreams, but it will tell you that how, if you have fallen in life, how to get up. So this is another book that I recommend. One more self-help book is Atomic Habits. That book has taught me a lot. Today, whatever habit building system that I've got in place, it's because of that book. So yes, these are 4 to 5 books that I've got. 4 Agreements. Sorry, to add on another one. 4 Agreements. That's also a very good book. Simple, 100-page book. Anyone can read it. So yes, these are the 4 to 5 books that I've got for self-help.
Okay. You also talked about implementing whatever you are reading in self-help book. So can you talk about any one learning which you implemented in your life, and if you can narrate the story, like how did it change something in you or in your life?
So there are quite a few, but let me pick up Atomic Habits. So there's this saying in Atomic Habits that if you want to build a habit, you cannot build it in a day. You cannot build it in a month. But if you progress 1% every day, that's how you increase. Okay. So in that book, it was given that if you want to exercise or if you want to build a habit, you do not have to, do half an hour or do 1 hour of something. Whenever we listen to these seminars or books, they always say that at least 20 minutes a day, 20 minutes a week. In that book, it was not given like that. But what was given is that every day you have to think about it. And if you want to start working out, you have to at least dedicate 2 minutes. Just walk for 2 minutes. And if you see the compounding effect of those 2 minutes, if you compound it to 1 year, it's going to be huge. The calorie loss is going to be huge. So it's not that how much you do it, but how often, the frequency of your habit. That is important. So that's how I started this Bookstagram channel. So when I started back in 2020, yes, 2020, I started it. And sometimes I used to be so busy that I could not get time to create some content out of it and everything. So that's when I started that every day 2 minutes I will dedicate to think that what do I have to post tomorrow. So every day 6 o'clock in the evening I used to sit 5 minutes. I'll sit and I'll frame that what do I have to post tomorrow. That's all. And it actually made my life easy, very easy. Because what I used to do is, if I have to post at 6 o'clock in the evening, I used to worry at 5 o'clock that, oh my God, what do I post? So that creates stress in life.
Yes.
So what I did was, every day before 6 o'clock, I used to sit for 5 minutes and decide that what do you have to post the next day. And it was crystal clear. Till today, I follow that. And I'm thankful that I read that book by James Clear, that you don't have to dedicate 30 minutes, 1 hour, or 45 minutes on everything. It's just that 2 minutes. Even when you want to work out every day, it is sufficient if you just put on the clothes. Trust me, that is the difficult part. He says that putting on workout clothes is equally difficult as waking up in the morning at 5 o'clock. Can you imagine how difficult it is to put workout clothes on? And once you put those on, you can actually go for a run.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Yes, wonderful. So yes, that's also very true that one can read, one can live in a library, but if they do not implement the same things in the real practical world, all that reading will go to waste, right? Okay. At this point, we can take some questions from the students also. I can see around 12 questions have been asked. Okay. One question is about reading time by Mr. Abhishek Gupta. So he wants to know that how to increase the reading time.
So there's this timer strategy that I follow.
Mhm.
I started doing this 1 year back. So what I do is on my phone or on my laptop, anywhere, I put a timer clock for
Mhm.
30 minutes. I
Okay.
started with 25 minutes, but now today I am on 1.5 hours. Okay.
Mhm.
So you put a timer for 20-25 minutes. 15 minutes is also sufficient. And then you switch off all the distractions. You
Mhm.
lock your door, no matter what you have to do, but lock your door, put your phone on silent, and cut off from the outside world and just read. So
Mhm.
when the timer runs out after 20 minutes, you will see that you have actually read more than you could have thought. So when the timer is there, right, in our subconscious brain, it's like you have to speeden up. You have to
Mhm.
speeden up. So
Mhm.
that is how you increase the speed, and it will happen slowly. It will
Yes.
not happen in a day. It will not happen in a month. It took me 2 years to double my speed. So
Mhm.
earlier I used to read 25 pages an hour, but today I can actually read 75 up to 75 pages an hour. So
Wonderful.
so that is how you actually increase. It needs patience. It needs a dedication. It needs strategy, and you actually need to have a book that you like also. You
Yes.
cannot force yourself on books that you don't like. If you give me a fiction, I will not be able to read 30 pages in half an hour. But if
Yes.
you give me a non-fiction book, along with my notes, along with my analysis, I'll be able to complete 70 pages
Oh,
in 1 hour. It's because of the
very good.
interest.
Yes.
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 So
Definitely.
that's a timer strategy that you can follow. It will work wonders. Many people have started doing it out of my Instagram channel, and it is actually very very helpful.
Okay, good. Some two, three students are asking that how to generate interest in the activity of reading. And similar question is, where did you get the motivation to read? Like, how do you generate interest in the reading activity?
Um, that's a very difficult question. How to generate interest? So interest will not come if I tell you to read. Interest will not come if your professors or your parents are asking you to do. But if it comes from within,
Hmm.
only then. So I cannot help you in that.
Hmm.
It has to come from within. Everything. If a person has to change, it needs to come from within. I can support you. I can give you guidance. I can give you ideas, strategies, but to do it, you have to get that fire from inside.
Hmm.
But just on that note, if you want to start reading, if you are a beginner, pick up this book,
Hmm.
Blue Umbrella. It's a very simple book. It's this tiny 70-page book, and it is a fiction book, short story book. You will like it. It is for every age group, from 8 years to 80 years of people. They can read
Hmm.
that book. And once you finish this, once you finish that book, right, there's a dopamine release in your
Hmm.
brain. So yes, I did it.
Hmm.
So this yes, I did it, this is going to act like a push for your next
Hmm.
book, that okay, now I have to read another one. And
Hmm.
once you are on a roll, it goes like a snowball effect, and you won't be able to stop yourself.
Hmm. Okay. Kajal is asking similar question related to this. That so many times we read a book, but we leave the book in half and we never get to finish it. So, like, is it necessary that we should finish every book which we start? That's the question from my side. And then, how to finish the book if you want to finish the book?
Okay. So no, it is not necessary that you have to finish every book that I start. I myself have the autobiography of a yogi,
Mhm.
the book that Steve Jobs used to read every year. I could not read that book.
Okay.
I felt that I am not uh, at the right time. I did not pick that book at the right time. So you have to let the book come to you. You cannot pick a book out of turn. So I've seen people following recommendations of Barack Obama, that these are the books that Barack Obama reads, that I'll read them. These are the books Elon Musk read. I'll read them and I'll become like Elon Musk. No, that's not true. They are reading those books because they are at that maturity and experience in life. I am reading these books because these are coming on my way. I'm not going to the books. Books
Mm.
have to come to you. So just seeing other people, we should not try to replicate our book choices. So that's number one thing. Number two is, if you do not like the book, don't be scared to drop it.
Mm.
I know I found it very difficult to drop books because it acts like a torture that why am I leaving it? So you have to drop the book because you only have finite time. You don't have infinite time. You don't have time to spend on books that you don't like,
Mm.
because you need to conserve your time. Your
Yes.
time is a very valuable resource. You cannot just while it away and try to read something that you're not interested in.
Mm.
So that's second, that you can drop a book. But if you want to continue,
Mm.
let's say that you feel that, yeah, I should read it, but not today, maybe tomorrow. So
Mm.
what you can do is, if you don't like the paperback, try for a different version. You can
Okay.
go for the Audible. So
Okay.
there are few books which might be very difficult when you are looking at the book and you're looking at the those pages. It's very thick in size, that's scaring you away or something. Go for the Kindle or for the audiobook.
Mm.
So a change in that version or format might also help you out coming out of a reading slump. And
Yes.
fourth thing is that you can drop it today, and tomorrow, if you feel that you want to pick it up, you can pick it
Mm.
up.
Yes. Yes. There is an interesting question by an anonymous listener, and he or she is asking, is there any book recommendation for facing rejection?
For facing rejection in life,
Mm.
yes, I'm actually currently reading it.
Oh, wonderful.
The Mountain Is You.
Okay.
Yes.
Mhm.
Very interesting thing about this book is, it will not only tell you what to do, but it will tell you what you are doing wrong
Mm.
and how to correct it.
Mm.
So on every page, they have talked about self sabotage and everything, and they are like, how to resolve this. Now, if you
Mm.
look into this, how to resolve this, I've never seen any author using these words, that how
Mm.
to resolve it. This is
Mm.
important. This is one book, and another one is the comfort book.
Okay.
Yes, this is going to this is a gem of a book. It is going to take you on a different level in
Mm.
self awareness and self love. Because whenever you face rejection in life, it's important to know that you yourself are sufficient.
Mm.
That's very important. So this is these are the two books that I recommend. There is another one which is coming to my mind, the Rudest Book Ever, but that's a little harsh,
Mm.
because it is going to tell you harsh realities about society. It is going to challenge all your beliefs.
Mm.
So that's a book that I recommend to youth, mostly
Mm.
because we are growing up in an environment that we are not aware of.
Mm.
So yeah, these are the books that I recommend.
Another anonymous attendee is asking uh, how to be practical rather than being emotional in every decision. Is there any book which can teach this person this thing?
Yes. How to be practical? Okay. Um, I'm not sure if don't sweat the small stuff.
Mhm.
It's a very thick book.
Mhm.
I had a thicker version of it. It's a three-part book. Don't sweat the small stuff. It talks about things that you don't have to worry, because
Mhm.
at times we worry about such small things, that, oh, traffic red ho gaya, oh, how do I cross now, oh my god, I'm 5 minutes late,
Mhm.
how do I cure it? So these kind of small things, right, these build on our mind and they create the pressure. That's how we become pressure cooker. So you have to avoid having such thoughts in your mind. So this is don't sweat the small stuff. This is a book that will teach you that. Another book that you can refer for it is Kiss That Frog.
Okay.
Yes, Brian Tracy. That's a book by Brian Tracy, and he talks about how to not be emotionally involved in each and everything that comes in your life. That's a great book. Master Your Emotions. Uh, that's also a great book. Not as great as Kiss That Frog, but Kiss That Frog is a beginner friendly. It's a 150-page book. Very
Like
simple, easy to
like Eat
understand.
That Frog. It's similar to
Yes,
Eat That Frog.
yes. So Brian Tracy has a thing for frogs. So
Frogs. Yes,
yes.
yes, 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 yes.
So these
Okay.
are the three books that I recommend.
Yes. Uh, we have already talked about how to implement things in real life. So Deeprada is asking this question again: how to implement certain things. So, for example, uh, you have talked about a lot of books. So I'm giving you a hypothetical situation. For example, that the Earth is going to be inhabitable now, and you are on the SpaceX mission to Mars. You have been selected since you are such a wonderful person and a wonderful reader, and you can take only three books with you. And these three books will be the foundation of the humanity on Mars. So no other book is going to be there on the Mars. So which three books you will choose?
Okay. Very interesting question again. Um, so the first book that I will choose is Can't Hurt Me.
Okay.
Yes. Now that Earth is inhabitable, we have to believe in ourselves. We have to be confident that we can build something again.
Hmm.
So this book is going to push you to achieve those limits that you thought that existed. So this book teaches you that there are no limits. You can do anything and everything that you want to do. So this is
Okay.
the one book that I'll take. Another
Wonderful
book will
pick.
be
Yeah.
the comfort book,
Hmm.
because you have lost everything.
Hmm.
You'll be sad, you'll be upset.
Hmm.
This book is going to take you is going to bring you closer to yourself. This book is going to give you that inner inspiration, that inner light which is needed. So this is that third book. And another one should be something on strategy.
Hmm.
um, I can go with this one. Yeah, the Daily Stoic, and I'm confused between these two. uh,
7 habits. Okay.
yeah so yeah, because I read this book every year, so I will surely take this to Mars because I have to read it there as well. So these are the three books that
So
I'll be
adding
taking.
on to this question and being a little bit greedy, let's say that Elon Musk says that, okay, Vishakha, you can take three more books, but these three books should be biographies or autobiographies, since we haven't talked about that. So which three books you will choose?
So Can't Hurt Me, it's a autobiography. So
Okay.
I will be taking that. uh, Steve Jobs,
Steve Jobs.
biography of Steve Jobs, that I'll be taking, because it will tell me about the failures and how I can, overcome those and get to the goals that I want to achieve.
Mhm.
And third one will be Becoming by Michelle Obama.
Yes.
Why do I like that book is because it talks about how uh, you can be supportive to the family that you have got, no matter what the struggles are going on, no matter if politics is good or bad, no matter the ups and downs in your life. You have to be straight, you have to walk as if nothing is happening in your life. So she is an absolute a great narrator. She's an amazing storyteller. I love that book. I did not like Barack Obama's book.
Okay.
Yes, but I liked her book better than his. The Promised Land. I did not like that book.
Okay. Okay. All right. So, do you also plan to write someday? And what kind of book that will be?
It is. So I'm a very bad writer. I cannot. I think a lot. I can scribble a lot, but I cannot put things in a streamlined order, because that's what people like to read. If I plan on writing something, it is going to be about time management for sure, because
Okay.
I feel that that's my strongest suit till today. From childhood till today, that's my strongest suit. People tell me that, how do you manage everything, 9 to 7 job, and then you have got Instagram, you have got your YouTube newsletter, you've got everything, these sessions going on, then how do you manage? Then I'm like, it happens, I'm able to do it. So if something comes up, it is going to be on time management, because I've not seen a book dedicated to time management as of now, which tells you how to do it and when to do it, what's the best way to do it, strategies, especially for Indian women. It's going to be focused on Indian women, because Indian women are super women, so they do everything. So
Yes,
yeah.
of course. Okay, any author which whom you would like to meet, dead or alive, and have a cup of coffee with?
That's going to be a Matt Haig.
Okay, the
Why?
comfort.
Because I've read 3 books of his: The Midnight Library, The Comfort Book, and Reasons to Stay Alive. So he writes books. He does not write book through reader's perspective. He writes book through his own perspective. So what other authors are doing is they are writing something that you want to read, but he's writing something that he wants to tell the world.
Okay. Yes.
I'm so sorry.
No problem.
Power is out. So he's an author, because simple lines. I will show you one page. Yeah. In one simple, just couple of lines, he steals your heart. And it's not very difficult to do that, because people actually want to feel.
I think there is some problem with the connection.
I'm sorry. I'm
Yes,
sorry.
Yes. Can you show us the
Yes.
page again?
So yes, I will show you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I pulled out a different page, but this is how it looks.
Okay.
If you see just one line in one page: life is short, be kind. That's the only thing written on one page, and it has got so much depth. You actually don't have to write pages and pages to be kind. You just need one sentence: life is short, be kind. That's all. And this is the beauty of Matt Haig, that he can explain deeper things in just few sentences, in just few words, in fact. So that is the reason I want to meet him. He suffered depression in his life. He came out of it. He has written books. So Reasons to Stay Alive is something that is focused on his life, how he overcame that depression and sadness, and he's where he is now. So so that is the reason I want to meet him, because he's not writing things that you want to read. He's writing things that you want to tell out to the world.
Yes, of course. So Kajal Malakar has a question, and she is saying that since you have said that there are no books on time management for Indian women, so 1 or 2 tips which you can give to the audience, and especially to the girls who are listening, on time management skills.
So how do I manage it is, you will only be able to manage your time if you give time to yourself. So you have to dedicate at least half an hour, 1 hour, how much ever is possible. I dedicate half an hour to myself. In the morning, in the evening, it does not matter. Dedicate that half an hour to yourself. Do not do anything in that time. Okay? So sit down and do whatever you want to do. I like to read books at that time. I either like to paint or something. I also stare at plants or trees or birds. So your choice, whatever you want to do. But if you don't find time for yourself, you will not be able to manage that 24 hours that you've got.
Yes.
Trust me. Because when you dedicate that half an hour time, you're doing what you want to and you feel content, and then you are ready to face whatever comes in your way.
Yes.
Okay. So that's how I do it. I dedicate half an hour, and I've got my priorities listed down. So from 7 habits of highly effective people, there's a quadrant based on importance and urgency.
Urgent. Yes.
Yes. Urgency and importance. You have got a quadrant, and you have to place things like, I have to buy grocery. Where does that fit in? Is it urgent? Is it important? So you have to, push those things in each quadrant, and then you have to see that what do I actually want to do. So that's how I do it. And you have to be self motivated, self inspired, because no one else is going to do that for you. Yes, family is there for support. My husband is very supportive. My friends, my family is very supportive. But that inner strength has to be there, because without that, you will not be able to do anything. Okay. And whatever promises you make to yourself, don't break those promises. So that's another thing. If you have decided that you want to publish a newsletter every Sunday, no matter what the time is, on Saturday night, I sit down and I publish that newsletter and I schedule it on Sunday, because I know that I've made that promise to myself that my newsletter has to go out every Sunday. So there's no way that I can excuse myself. Yes, you have to be harsh sometimes to manage time and to do everything to be productive. Yes. But if as you go, right, in 1 year, 2 year, you will become master of doing whatever. It's just that there should be that zeal of doing it. There should be that discipline of dividing time into fractions. You would not want to waste time in things that are non-needed. So I don't watch a lot of Netflix, and I don't waste time there. So you have to sacrifice on some things. You have to cut some things down. I don't party a lot, so you have to cut down on things to achieve things that you actually want to.
Yes. So yes, that's very important. Like I have read in one of the Dalai Lama's book that everybody should meditate for 10 minutes. And if anybody is so busy that they cannot find time of 10 minutes to meditate, they should meditate for 30 minutes. Yeah. Right. So that's very important. If you do not have 30 minutes for yourself, it means that whatever you will be doing throughout the day, it will always be something less than what you expect. Right? Okay. One last question I would like to take by Ms. Pooja Gupta. She has asked a lot of questions, but last question I want to take from her is that a lot of time youngsters generally, they feel a lot of pressure. They have peer pressure, family pressure, expectations and everything. So any book you can suggest to them for handling pressure well?
To handle pressure well. Okay. The things that you can see only when you slow down.
Okay.
Okay. This is the exactly opposite of the question, which is when you have pressure. So when you have pressure, what do you like to do? You want to finish things as soon as possible. But this book tells you that you need to calm down. You need to go at your own pace. People will try to create an environment and get things done on their way. But what you have to ask yourself is that, do I want to do it? When do I want to finish it? What is my priority? So yes, those things are going to be listed in this book. Do you want to meditate, or do you want to attend that 7 o'clock in the morning meeting? Tell them that you're busy. This is your time. Tell them it's lunch time. So we always feel that, if we tell the other person, they will think that, oh, she's making excuses. But other people understand. If you actually tell them that, sorry, I have a personal reason, I don't think there will be anyone who will tell you to attend a meeting if you say that there's a personal reason I won't be able to attend. It's just that we are so scared tell our reasons to other people.
Mm.
So whenever, as I work, so from 1:30 to 2:30, I put myself on lunchtime. I do not take any calls at that time. I tell them that it's my lunchtime. And so this is how you have to be stringent,
Mm.
because external people, the other people, they are always going to make difficult things for you. But it's on you that how you want to overcome those and come out shining. So this is that book that will tell you things you can see only when you slow down.
Okay.
How to be calm in a busy world. So that's
Mm.
the that's
Yes.
the subtext of this. A very great book. If you see that I've made amazing notes on this, an absolute lovely book.
Okay. So you have talked about a newsletter which you put out every Sunday. So how does one subscribe that?
The link is there on my Instagram bio, and
Okay.
yes, I publish it on every Sunday. Whatever thoughts I get on Saturday, if I get some interesting thought on Saturday, I just publish a newsletter on that. So it's not something that I have got. Generally, what people do is they have got 10 to 12 newsletters ready, and they keep publishing them. But
Yes,
that's
yes.
not how I do it. I make sure that every Saturday night I'm sitting, and
Mm.
that's when I go into the Zen mode, and that's when I think that what do I want to tell my audience, how do
Mm.
I want to talk. So it's a way that I'm talking to them.
Okay.
And I used to conduct weekly live sessions, but with this shifting and everything, that has become a little difficult. I'll be
Mm.
starting it from this week. So
Okay.
there's a lot of things that I'm doing on Instagram. So yeah, you can subscribe to my newsletter. If you go to Wishing Sky on Instagram, link will be there in the bio.
Yeah. So it's Wishing Sky, and you can easily find it. You can, I think the audience and readers can ask you questions also there on your Instagram. Yes.
Yes, in fact, I get so many personal messages, about 50 to 60 messages every day. But I try to answer how many ever possible. Uh,
Okay. All right. So thank you very much, Vishakha. It has been really, really, really wonderful listening to you, talking to you, and discussing the books. And I think that the audience would have also loved this. And we will post this on our YouTube channel also. So the students who have missed that, they will be able to watch it. And I have prepared the list of around 20 books which you have recommended. And in our library, I will see to it that we create a separate section with all of these books, Vishakha's recommendations, right? And I hope and I pray that everybody starts a wonderful journey of reading books, getting inspired by this talk. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for arranging this and coordinating with me. It is lovely talking to you and answering all the questions. I hope that this was helpful to the audience, and may each and every one of you start your journey in a unique way.
Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye bye.